So you're mentioning sharing staff, you've mentioned, getting contracts from one another. How have you guys personally benefited from working with your competition?
For me, I host the Expression Engine podcast, so my co-host is actually my direct competitor. But because we have banded together to run this show, we've raised both our profiles in the community. We've also helped raise the bar in our own little niche industry because we're sharing all this type of information. And at the same time, you're building a relationship with someone that knows their stuff. It's hard to find quality people to work with, and when you work with someone on a regular basis like that, you get to really know what their skill set is and see how you can fit into each other's workflow. Another one, directly for me, one of my longest running retainer clients was actually given to me by a direct competitor who actually is a partner for the Expression Engine podcast as well. And he simply just wanted to take his firm on a slightly different direction, and he understood that my company was heading on the direction that his current client at the time was heading. And when you refer clients to each other, your brand and your reputation is not just based on what you do, it's who you know. And if you're going to refer, someone to somebody else, you want to make sure that that person is of quality as well. And when you do those types of things, you just bolster each other's reputation.
I think personally, aside from being in business and making your business stronger and making your revenue streams, if you're sharing clients or you're sharing contracts or events or drives more people through the door. There's real refuge that I take in the you're in a jam kind of situation, especially in our industry where things can change. We can have tons of people flood through the door. We can have contracts flood through emails that come in, and we frankly don't know what to do sometimes with that mass amount of work. It also can be the opposite, where you can have quiet times and people know that, and other competitors know that, okay, you need some contracts, we'll dish you some. And so there's refuge that I take in knowing that there's going to be a competitor out there that is as much a competitor as they are a friend, that they're just going to say, hey, these guys, we'll work with them, we'll take the projects from them and help ease their workload, or we'll drive more people to them. And I think that rings really true, and it falls back also to suppliers. And short little example is about a month ago, our baker didn't show up. Well, how does a sandwich shop run without a bakery? And so I called Drift, and they're good friends of mine. We've worked together on project after project. They're another great sandwich shop, and we actually use very similar bread. We have the same baker, and somehow they had gotten a shipment earlier. And so what happened is I called them up, and they happened to be at a festival that was 3 blocks away. I was like, do you guys have a few dozen bread that I can borrow? Yeah, sure. And so right there, it's just this what we would have had to not be able to provide the service, and all of a sudden we were able to provide the service that we set out to because of them, because of that partnership and relationship.
Now, have you ever been burned from working with a competitor? So thinking that everything was going fine, everyone is in the end good, but then having something bad happen?
For me personally, I've been fortunate, knock on wood, that I haven't been burnt by a specific competitor, and maybe that's partly because I've been very careful who to partner up or work with, essentially. Just the same with my clients. I'm very careful over what the standards are and the integrity of this person and what they're working on, and seeing how things complement. And because of that, I think I've been very fortunate that I haven't been so far burnt.
I should have knocked on wood. I think one thing that has happened is that oftentimes you get into a bit of a bubble of relationship, business, work with your competitor kind of bubble, and it has happened a couple of times. One thing is that we take the vouching and the the recommendation referral very seriously, but we also take the burning of a bridge quite seriously too, and that we have like a one strike you're out policy unless there's some justification. But we have on a couple occasions been burned, and one in particular, we went with the same business practices that we take to every meeting or every client, and that we operate on integrity and openness and honesty. And that went forth with a landlord who, up until the time we were supposed to open a shop, and right at the last minute found a 4-word omission in a 32-page legal document, and basically it was hidden in there intentionally from the beginning, and pulled the plug, and cost us a ton of time and a ton of money, and was hard to swallow. But at the same time, like, you learn from your mistakes, and those kind of people, there's warning bells and signs that go off. So